I'm so excited. This gentleman is a mentor, a dear friend. I'm taking a class from him right now, so this is just all-inclusive. He has done a lot of things. He Bridgetown Comedy Festival. He has an incredible show that you need to see, late night action. It's the last Monday of every month at Mississippi Studios. It's amazing. I'm not kidding. It's set up like a talk show. Bree Pruitt is a sidekick. It's incredible. He's also a columnist for the Mercury. He does a lot of things. And also, I like to think of him as something special, a job. I kind of like to think of him as a dad, even though he's like, what? Yeah, it's awkward. It doesn't work. I'm like 14 years older than him, but this is just what I need in my life right now. I need a father figure. And I look at him. He is comforting to me. He is encouraging. He is kind. He is the right kind of encouraging where it's just enough where I'm not an entitled piece of shit. He's the kind of encouraging where he keeps striving me to do better, but not withholding enough to make me feel bad. And I also think of him as also kind of like a high-priced call girl. Because I pay him a lot of money to hang out with me, and then we see each other, and I'm like, I just want to talk. So on that note, it is Alex Falcone.
That guy sounds dreamy. You guys, Jay-Z hosting tonight, you guys, isn't that awesome? Very cool. Thank you for letting me be here and letting me talk to you. This is the coolest thing. Not the weirdest thing I've done this month, but very cool. One of the coolest things I've ever done. The weirdest thing I've done recently is I did a show in Sequim. Have you guys, Sequim, Washington? Yeah. I was up at, there's a casino up in Sequim, for those of you who haven't been there, and it's got this huge showroom, like 400 seats, and like just the screens on the 2 cameras filming me, and then the big screens in case I do any close-up magic at any point, they'll be ready. And there were 4 people, including the other comic. There were 3 audience members, and what I just did is the whole show, I just like pretended this was real TV, and I just couldn't hear America laughing. And that's why. But after the show, I finished the show, and I go and I sit at the bar, and one of the 3 audience members, 6'4" African-American gentleman, walks over, sits down next to me, just no introduction, goes, "Hey, that was kind of funny. You want to go upstairs and fuck?" Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, I had no idea what to say. I've never turned down sex before. Do I still have to buy you a gift if I RSVP? No? What's the etiquette here? Also, normally when I'm on stage, I don't start talking about him. I normally talk about my wife a lot, so we had a lot of opportunities to realize that this wasn't going to work, because she is real and a woman, and real, that's the most important thing. And so I said that. I was like, "Did you not hear me just talking about my wife for half an hour?" And he was like, "Well, yeah. I'm a black gay guy in Sequim. I gotta try with everybody." That is an amazing human being. That level where you just get just no bullshit with anything. I'll give you a hint. If you're trying to sleep with a comedian, I would start with, "That was pretty funny, at least," right? Kind of funny, not a great pickup line. I'm just like, I couldn't even be that honest with my wife, who's legally required to sleep with me. I think I didn't read the whole contract. I think that's what it said, though, right? Like rich or poor, sickness, health, every couple times a week, right? Something like that. I don't know. I'm not even brave enough with my wife. Like, here's my best pickup line for my wife. I'll give this a free, you can have this one, guys, if you're ever trying to sleep with my wife. It's like this. It's this is my best pickup line for her is, "Hey, honey, after this episode of Cosmos is over, do you want to brush our teeth early?" That's the best I got. It's like 50-50. It's not bad. Even like I'm not even brave enough with her. Like, even if we were in the middle of having sex, I would be like, "You want it, right?" Because she might be like, "Meh." We just celebrated our 1-year anniversary a couple weeks ago, which is very exciting. Thank you, 3 of you. And not everyone was excited. My family, not everyone was excited when I told them I was getting married. My uncle was like, "Dude, why buy the cow if you're getting the milk for free? Am I right?" Because we love each other. Here's how you can tell I never refer to her as the cow. And she has health insurance. Those 2 reasons. Also, Uncle Jim, you've been divorced 3 times. Maybe stop buying cows. Maybe you're not a rancher. My wife and I have been talking about having kids more often than I would like. Anybody else? Yeah? All right. I like kids. I would like to have a kid at some point. I'm not quite ready yet. But the first time I ever thought it might be fun to have a kid is when I saw the movie Up. Have you guys seen Pixar movie Up? Yeah. It's great. There's this part, I was watching it in theaters, and there's this part where the old guy and the Boy Scout and the talking dog are all in some kind of a pickle. And it's a Disney movie, that's what happens. And the Boy Scout gets really frustrated, and he's like, "What is this all about?" And there's a 4-year-old boy in the movie theater with us, sitting behind us, stands up, answers the movie. He yells back, "Friendship!" This is exactly what that movie is about, too. It's so I wouldn't have known. If you had paused that movie, like in a film class, and been like, "Alex, what's this movie about?" I'd be like, "A dude kidnaps an Asian kid with a flying house." It's about friendship. That's secretly what it's about. Not about that. And his name was probably Aiden, and he saw right through the heart. I don't know if I want kids, but I know that I want that kid, and I want to take him to every movie. I wish Aiden had been there the first time I saw Wizard of Oz, because it scared me a little the first time. Anybody else? Yeah. A little scary. And it's also really confusing. So like, there's this part where the naive farm girl and the steampunk robot and the pile of hay with clothes are all in some kind of a pickle, and the robot is like, "What is this all about?" And then Aiden would be like, "The dangers of America abandoning the gold standard." Smart kid. I wish you'd been there when I saw Transformers 4. We're not really trying anymore, or whatever it was called. Because there's a part where Mark Wahlberg and the yellow one are in some kind of a pickle. And Marky Mark is like, "What is this all about?" And Aiden would be like, "It's a paycheck, don't overthink it." It's the only water cups we have back there. No, just using one of your shot glasses. Anyway, I do like kids. I'm an uncle now. I've gotten practice with kids, which is fun. Anybody else? Any cool uncles out there? Anybody? Yeah. What do you do that's cool? How do I be a cool? I want to be a cool uncle. What do you do? Just fuck with them. And did that make them cool? My uncles fucked. I've been a vegetarian for like 15 years, and when my uncles came over for Thanksgiving, they used to flick little pieces of turkey at my face the whole meal. Not a cool uncle move, I don't think. Anybody else cool? Because this guy seems like maybe a mean uncle. I don't know if he's confusing those two things. Okay, great. I try to make him laugh. He's only 1-year-old, so he doesn't really like my clever movie stuff, but he does think I'm funny. He likes when I just put my head in his face and shake my hair around. So that's what I do all the time, because I am a whore for laughter. That's what I like. If that's what it took to get you guys to laugh, that's all I would do. For half an hour, I would just shake my hair in your face. A polite smile. Okay. I'll work on you. It worked better. All right, now I know where you're at. Okay, great. Thank you. My sister did this weird thing, though, before she had this kid, where she told everybody in the family that they were trying to get pregnant. Have you heard, like it's a math problem you can't figure out, Julia? Pretty sure that's a sex thing, and I don't want to hear about it. Surprise me. Tell me when he's 6 months old. That's what I want to know. You can't just send an email to the whole family that's like, "By the way, my husband and I are having unprotected sex like all the time. See you at Thanksgiving." That's gross. Don't tell your brother that. I don't want to know. She didn't say unprotected sex. She was trying to be cute. You guys, this is what she actually said. She said, "We've removed the goalie. So now I can't watch soccer. Thanks, Julia." Goal! No, it's my sister. I don't send her email updates about my sex life. I'm not like, "Just so you know, my wife and I are trying not to get pregnant around 2 or 3 times a week on average. Sometimes there's a 2 for Wednesday, but not this week. Keeping it like a secret, yeah, it's fine." And it's a totally reasonable trade-off. And We want the goalie to stay right where he is for the time being. We did lose the goalie one time. Scary story. Sometimes he likes to hide way in the back of the goal. We found him. CC Nana. I don't do that. That would be gross. That would be gross. I was shooting a car commercial the other day because I'm living the dream right now. Did not expect the dream to be in Beaverton. That was a surprise. But should have dreamed a little harder. But I was doing this car commercial out in Beaverton, and it was. I know you're surprised that this sort of aggressive Gap ad could sell cars, but I got acting range, and I was playing the car salesman. That's what my job was. And the weirdest thing about this is we're shooting on the lot, so I am pretending to be a car salesman in front of actual car salesmen who have all paused their jobs to watch me. They are like, so the thing they do for a living, I am pretending to do for way more money, and I get free coffee. And they do not like it. The head salesman, who went by the name The Panther, and looked like the kind of guy who makes people call him the Panther, he was especially upset. And at one point during this, we take a break between shots, and I'm like leaning on the hood of the car, and the Panther, I don't know how he earned that. He's elusive. Preys on the weak and sick. I don't know. But he wanders over to me, and he just leans into my ear and goes, "I wouldn't hire you to sell shit." And then walked away. And I wish I'd done something super cool. I wish I'd been like, slapped the coffee out of his hand and been like, "Coffee's for closers, Panther boy." Or even said something really snappy like, "Well, I wouldn't pay you to act in shit. Different people have different jobs, sir." That would have been fine. This is what I actually said. I was like, not a great comeback. Actually, what I did say after that was, "Excuse me, Mr. Director, I don't feel safe in my work environment." And then he cleared the room because I am a fragile actor. And because I'm on TV, I probably sold more cars than him. So I win in the long run. That one's new, but it's got a happy ending, so I don't mind telling you. Let's go back to something that was working. So we're trying not to have kids. I'll tell you an embarrassing story about that really fast. I was buying condoms on Amazon the other day. That's not the embarrassing part. That was for free shipping. And and I did this I did the thing that I've done every time I've ever bought condoms since I was a youngster. I was 19. But anyway, the first time I was like, they did this thing where I throw some other items in the cart. Like I'm a super spy, and this lady will never figure out I'm a pervert. That's my plan. Anybody else tried to sneak a thing by? Okay, it doesn't work. There's no checkout lady in the world who's like, condoms, string cheese, eggs. What was that first thing? Never happened. Never happened. Amazon, also not fooled. Amazon, I added like 15 things to my cart. One of them was condoms, and now all my suggestions on Amazon are sex things. And it's been months. And they're not even good suggestions. They're things like, people who like condoms also like blow-up dolls. Did you know Amazon sold blow-up dolls? That's in health and beauty. Don't know which one it is. I was very surprised. Also, those are two different parties, right? Right? Like if I'm doing it with a blow-up doll, probably having a bad day, gonna go raw dog. I deserve it, and I'm not worried about a half blow-up baby, but thanks, Amazon. Gonna sell me a dental dam too so I don't get air herpes? I'll be okay. They also try to sell you other condoms. They're like, people who like, this condoms, the normal ones like the ultra-thin condoms, which I don't. That's too thin. Some things are thick for safety. Right? Like it's like an ultra-thin bulletproof vest. Like maybe it feels better, don't trust it with my life, right? I bet when you buy that, it says people who like ultra-thin condoms also like Father's Day cards. I am a little doughy. Thanks for noticing, front row. I'm really into junk food. Do you like dessert food? Anybody else? Really? Oh, I'm into the dessert food. This is true about me. In the last 6 months, I threw out my back putting on a pair of pants, and I chipped a tooth eating a piece of pie too aggressively. Not really a catch. I was so excited about this particular piece of pie. Here's what happened. Totally could have happened to anybody. Just in such a hurry that I did not take the fork all the way out. Who's got the time, right? So I bite down through cherries and crust, straight down both front teeth on a metal fork, and I chip one of the teeth, and I'm standing there in the living room whimpering. And this is how cool my wife is. My wife comes in, and she's like, "What happened, big guy?" And she calls me big guy. And I tell her, and instead of making fun of me like all of you probably would, she was like, "Oh yeah, pie can be tricky." That's a keeper. I'm at the point in this career where I've started getting tired just hearing about exercise. That's where I'm at. My buddy Sean just started this new exercise program, and he was bragging about it the other day. We were hanging out, and he was like, "Do you ever have one of those days, man, where you start hitting the gym really hard first thing in the morning?" And nope, lost me already. He was like, "You hit the gym really hard and you do too much of the arm thing." He probably didn't call it arm thing. He was like, "Triceratops push." I don't know what it's called. You do too much of that, and then later you're with your girlfriend, right, and you're on top, and your arms start to shake. You know that day? No. Have you had this day, Sean, where you start hitting the rocky road pretty hard, first thing in the morning? By noon, you finish so much of the ice cream, it's going to be obvious to your wife that you've been day creaming again. So even though you're not hungry, you realize your only move left is to finish the cart and throw it in the neighbor's trash can so she won't find it. Go to the grocery store, buy an identical pint of Rocky Road, and eat it down at the place you started. Because I've had that day. And sometimes when I'm on top, my arms shake just from my body weight. I do like to connect with my wife both intimately and like Legos. And we're into pretty basic stuff. We're into the normal things. Have you guys noticed the people who are into more advanced, like varsity level sex, have become really aggressive about it? They're very pushy. There are these kinky bullies running around. I don't know if you've noticed this. And they're very insulting if they find out that you like to have Lego-style intercourse, which I do. They're like if you're not 50 Shadesing each other, they're like, "Listen, what do you do? Who taught you to fuck? A nun?" They're like very aggressive, and they try to throw this one at you. They're like, "You're into you just really vanilla, bro," which is not an insult. That's the second most expensive spice in the world. You're confusing vanilla with plain. Those are two totally different yogurts. Vanilla is the second most expensive spice in the world. I mean, we're not having saffron sex. We're not crazy. But vanilla's pretty good. Maybe this yogurt analogy is not working for you. Okay, so cheese pizza is the best pizza. Right? Okay, so here's the thing, right? You're not buying this either. I love cheese pizza, and people say like plain cheese, and it's not plain cheese. It is already a perfect it's like a handmade, hopefully, buffalo mozzarella on like a perfect tangy and salty tomato sauce with Italian imported Roma tomatoes on the perfect crust that you can fold, but it's still got a little crispness to it. And then some people are like, "I want my pizza to choke me." And that... I mean, if that's what the group is having, I'll try some, but not my first choice. I'm not judging anybody. It takes a village. Is that how that saying works? No. I was talking to a douchebag at a bar the other day. Hazard of the job. And he dropped this. Okay, so he's hitting on a friend of mine, and she goes to the bathroom. And I was like, "Just so you know, buddy, she has a girlfriend and is not interested in you." And he drops this old chestnut on me. I'm sure you've heard this one. He goes, "That's cool. I'm a lesbian trapped in a man's body." Still not what she's into. Just not sure you know how the system works. I don't know what your best case scenario was. Like she's going to go home and lick down through your douchey outer layers into the soft, pillowy lesbian inside or whatever. It's not how it works. Also, don't trap people inside your body. That's a creepy way to say you like women. You're allowed to just like women. You can't, I like sugar cubes. There's not a horse trapped in my body. That's my point. It's pretty weird. I really like music. I had an old thought the other day. I mean, you guys heard that where you're like, oh shit, I'm getting old. I just thought the music they're allowed to play on the radio embarrasses me sometimes. That's the oldest thought I've ever had. I was embarrassed by something they said on the radio, and it was that I don't know if you guys have heard this. There's a thing. I really like hip hop, but there's this thing that hip hop artists have started saying, where they, instead of saying getting head, they refer to oral sex as getting brain. Have you heard this? Some of you are nodding. This is a very embarrassing thing the first time I heard it, because that is a very sensitive part of a young lady's body, and you should not just poke it with your little Yeezy. She needs that for math and phone numbers, right? You can't just put, doesn't bounce back. It's medically unsafe. For those of you some of you are like, what is this all about? It's a real thing, you guys. Thanks, Aiden. I'll give you a lyric. Here's an example. There's a Kanye West song where he goes, "That explain why I love college, getting brain in the library, because I love knowledge." When you use your medulla oblongata, hold on a second, Kanye. Really quick. 3 things, really fast. Number 1, congratulations, your wedding looked beautiful. Number 2, I'm sure you didn't know she was in a wheelchair. Number 3, not all of you read TMZ often enough. That's fine. Well, 4 things, actually. Number 3, you were never in a library. And number 4, you shouldn't poke a young lady in the brain with your penis, but you should especially not poke the medulla oblongata. That would be the worst part of the brain to poke. That's very far back, and that's the part of the brain that regulates coughing and sneezing and vomiting. The 3 horsemen of the apocalyptic blowjob. Do not go near that. At least find part of her brain that has to do with pleasure. Give her hypothalamus a reach around or something. Be a gentleman. I like saying really intelligent things in the dirtiest possible situations. That's fun for me. Speaking of, well, actually, let's do this. Let's do something political. You guys want to do something political? Let's divide the room a little bit. It's risky. I'm going to do it. I hate mermaids. Okay, just the one. You're pretty calm, normally. There's always somebody with like a mermaid tattoo on her leg or something, and she's all like sexy with the shell bra and the thing. I'll let you practice saying tattoo. It's really fun. Great. Okay, here's the thing. I don't mind them as people, fish people. As friends, I don't think we should look at them sexually. That's my main problem. They're not sexy creatures. Sean, the exercise guy, he's really into them. And she's a fish from the waist down, right? I mean, even if her top half is perfect, she's a 5. That's how math works. You're not all on board. Okay, here's my point. If I was taking off a lady's pants, which I'm not allowed to do, but if I was doing that, I would rather find a penis than a halibut. It's just how I was raised, you know? You could not have sex with a mermaid. What's going to happen? She gets all turned on, drops a load of caviar on your chaise lounge, and she wants you to fertilize upon it. It's gross. You don't want to do that. It's like $80 a pound. Save it for a party. Sean was not convinced. He was like, all right, bro, if that's all you care about is the sex, let's switch it up. Let's put the human half on the bottom. No. Let's definitely not do that. That would be way worse. We can agree on that, right? Like, technically you could have sex, but the whole time you're looking in the cold, dead eyes of a giant fish head. It's not an orgasm, by the way. She's breathing heavy. She's suffocating. Put her back in the ocean. I thought that was going to win more people over. So he's like, what is this all about? He's projecting at this point, we think. Thanks, Aiden. I should clarify. I did say something at the beginning of that joke that I don't approve of, but it was important. I had to get to this part, I guess. I don't like when people rate each other's attractiveness. Numbers, I think it's a very shitty thing to do to people. And I realized that. I used to think it was fun, and then it happened to me, and now I'm like, I don't like it anymore. It was the first time anyone had ever insulted me with a number. Happened the other day. I was walking by the river and I saw the craziest thing I've ever seen. I saw two women walking arm in arm. One of them was blind. She had dark glasses. She had a cane, and her friend was just telling her how unattractive the men out today were. She was they were just walking down, and she was like, "That's a 3. There's 2 4s together. At least they found each other. You know, you're lucky that you're blind." That happened. She had outsourced. She had a judging eye dog. She had hired someone. And okay, maybe she called me a 4. That's my problem. The woman is blind. I'm not deaf. Make both of our days right now. Lie to us both. That would be very easy. Everybody is happy. And it's not that I think I'm super hot. I think I'm a 6 or a 6.5 in Portland, maybe. Or a 9 in Vancouver. I'm all right. Cheap local references. That's fine. Let's pretend I had a really great segue here. So my dad got cancer last summer, right before my wedding, because he's a drama queen. And yeah, you guys are not into it. Bear with me. So my dad did this thing where he last summer, he got kidney cancer and leukemia at the same time and beat them both. That's been my last year, which is pretty cool. Yeah. I feel like that kid thing where you're my dad could take your dad in a fight. Right? Not literally, because he still gets tired in the afternoons, but emotionally, or if your dad was cancer, both of those ways he could do it. You're not as happy for him. What is this one about? That's how he deals with sad things. Okay. So my dad beat cancer, and while this was happening, one of the weirdest things happened to me. I flew home and I was helping take care of him, and I took him to the hospital one day. We chatted with his oncologist, and she found out I was a comedian, and she thought that was amazing. She was so impressed, and she said one of the dumber things I've ever heard. She was like, "Really, you're a comedian? That's the hardest job in the world." Then you're a terrible oncologist. We're leaving, Dad. Probably shouldn't have brought you to Zoom Care. That was my bad. She is literally a hero. This is not the hardest job in the world. I am just talking to people normally at bars so they'll drink longer. I could be replaced by pretzels at any moment. That's my job. And she is literally saving people's lives. She's a hero. And she said, but she was so impressed. And I know it's hard to talk to a comedian. If you guys have never done it, it's weird. You don't know what to say. I was at a funeral recently with my wife, and her uncle was like, "I bet you're getting some great material out of this." And I was like, "Well, I wasn't until now, you weirdo." It's difficult to know what to say. But then she said, here's the thing. What happens if you're on stage and nobody laughs? Everybody lives through the night, Doc. It's awesome. You should try it sometime. And then she was like, I said, "You're a hero." And she was like, "Look, you're saving people's lives too. You're helping people. Laughter is the best medicine." Then why am I paying you $1,000 a pill? Come on, Dad, I'm just going to tell you this really cute joke about a kid I met in a movie theater. I'll clear that shit right up. All right, well, that's all I wanted to say. And normally I would like to end on a huge laugh, but this is such an intimate room that I just wanted to say thank you guys for hanging out. I really appreciate you coming out tonight. This is just one of the coolest things, and I know it's copied from New York, but it's also a thing that seems beautifully and perfectly Portland. So thank you for being part of this. Enjoy the rest of you guys' night. Come see it again. I'm Alex Falcone. Jay-Z, hosting things.
Keep it going for my dad. Mentor, friend, call girl, comedian, teacher. So many things.